Guys, this demonstration is one of my favorites to start off the year with. I was going to show you the full setup first, and then we'll kind of get started from there. But I have a, you guys can see this or not, but this is a wrapping paper tube. It's totally high-tech, I know. But a wrapping paper tube that is covered with foil. It started to fall apart a couple years ago, so I put some duct tape on the bottom of it. That is actually hooked up to a ring stand, which I have here. There's a beaker here that's upside down just for stability, and then at the end I have a candle. I'm going to zoom you in here in just a second. We're going to start off with just a little bit about what is chemistry. I'm going to move this in. Ooh, wrong way, I'm sorry. There we go. So I've got some hexane that I'm going to put into an Erlenmeyer flask. In order to do so, I'm going to put my goggles on first. I'm going to take off my ID, and I know I'm kind of off the screen here. I do take my ID off because it is dangles, so I don't want that to fall into the open flame. And if you notice my hair is down, I'm going to pull that back real quick. Now you're not really going to be able to see me. I'm going to be kind of off to the side here for the remainder of the demonstration. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to light my candle at the end down here. And as I light my candle down there, I'm not going to catch my high-tech ramp on fire. We're going to leave that at the end. I'm going to take my hexane and I am going to pour it into my Erlenmeyer flask. Now, chemistry, people always say, ooh, that's like a bunch of magic. It is a lot of fun stuff. You're going to get to see a lot of demonstrations, hopefully face-to-face more than like this. But I still wanted to do this, and then once we get face-to-face, I'll try to do this with you as well. I have the lights off in the room. I've got my ring light on, so I hope that we will be able to turn out the lights fairly easily, and you'll be able to see it in the dark as well. But chemistry, a little bit of magic. Hexane is a liquid. It's a clear liquid. With that clear liquid that I have in the container here, it is flammable. So if I take a little bit of this and I pour it onto the table, and I light that, it does burn. So my hexane, it is a flammable liquid. So if I had this on my paper tube that is covered, that was cut in half and covered with aluminum foil, it's going to catch on fire, and I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do instead is we're going to act like we are pouring this down the ramp. I'm not going to pour this. I'm going to leave this liquid in the container. But I'm going to pretend like I'm pouring this liquid that I have in here down the ramp. And if I pretend that I'm pouring it down the ramp, and we think really, really, really hard about it, it catches on fire. I'll do it one more time with the lights on, and then I'll try to turn the lights off. But again, the liquid is still in the container here. I pretend like I'm going to pour, but I'm not actually pouring anything. But it still catches on fire. Again, I'm going to try to turn my light out and see if you can see that a little bit better. It's not too big of a difference, but we're going to act like we're pouring things. And if I pretend like I'm going to pour it, it still catches on fire. Now, people always ask, well, oh my gosh, it's magic. What is going on? I'm going to turn my light back on real quick. It is not actually magic. What is actually happening here is this clear liquid is still in the container. I didn't pour any of it out. It is a very volatile liquid. And that very volatile liquid means that it's going to evaporate very easily. It's also more dense than the air. When it's more dense than the air, it's going to settle down to the bottom. So what's actually happening here is inside of the container, it's turning into a gas. But that gas isn't going everywhere in the room. It's staying in the container itself. Which means that when I come over here and I pretend like I'm pouring, I'm not actually pouring the liquid, I am pouring the gas. And as I pour the gas down the ramp, it's going to tumble down the ramp to the candle, hopefully. And as it tumbles down the ramp to the candle, eventually those vapors, eventually those vapors are going to catch on fire because they are flammable. So a lot of times in chemistry, you have things that you may or may not see right away. There it goes, finally. So sometimes you can look at things and you can go, oh, I understand what's going on. The fire is catching because of the vapors, and you see the picture right away. But then other times people are going to look at that and go, I don't get it. This doesn't make any sense at all. That's a time that you're going to have to ask a question. And when you ask the question, you might say, Dr. Gable, can you give me some more information? And then I give you that extra information that the hexane is more volatile, and so it's turning into a liquid to a gas. And then when you see the demonstration again, after I give you that explanation, you go, oh, now I get it. Some people are just sitting there now and they're going, did I go to Hogwarts? I still don't understand. So that's maybe a time that you might need to reach out and say, okay, can you give me a little bit more information, or can you show me again, or maybe show me again in a different way? And so I can actually show you all those different things. So as we're going through chemistry, like I said, this is just a fun demonstration to do. It's really neat in person. I kind of wish that you could have seen it face to face, but it is what it is at this point. But I will show you these demonstrations as we go through the year. And hopefully it helps to explain the chemistry in a little bit, better detail. If you still want more information about some of these demonstrations that I do, I can definitely show you. But I will always take the time to show you the definitions themselves.